This presentation is part of a continuous series of videos all about project management, program management, and portfolio management and other related topics. In this video we will see the newly updated 12 Principles of Project Management, which help to follow the 7th edition PMBOK guide by BMI. We will go through the detail of each project management principle, developments, and applications. These 12 principles of project management are presented in two parts in two consecutive videos. This video covers 6 of the 12 principles. The first part of these 12 principles are presented in one video. You can click the link above to watch them. This video is part 2 of these principles. Please subscribe with the click below to be notified about the coming videos. These video series are presented by the SEBCAM Consultant, a consulting firm and professional with many years experience in engineering project activities, certified by BMI with PMP, PGMP, and PFMP. Let's continue. Principles of Project Management. To date, the global project management community has embraced the shift toward a set of principle statements. The principle statements capture and summarize generally accepted objectives for the practice of project management and its core functions. These provide broad parameters within which project teams can operate and offer many ways to remain aligned with the intent of the principles. While effective in supporting good practice, process-based standards are prescriptive by their very nature. With project management evolving more rapidly than ever before, the process-based orientation of past cannot be maintained in a manner conducive to reflecting the full value delivery landscape. Therefore, this shifts to a principles-based standard to support effective project management and to focus more on intended outcomes rather than deliverables. Many organizations and practitioners continue to find the process-based approach useful for guiding their project management capabilities, aligning their methodologies, and evaluating their project management capabilities. That approach remains relevant in the context of the new updates. This shift begins with a systems view of value delivery. Systems focus for value delivery changes the perspective from one of governing portfolios, programs, and projects to focusing on the value chain that links those and other business capabilities to advancing organizational strategy, value, and business objectives. Projects do not simply produce outputs, but more importantly, enable those outputs to drive outcomes that ultimately deliver value to the organization and its stakeholders. Organizations expect projects to deliver outcomes in addition to outputs and artifacts. Project managers are expected to deliver projects that create value for the organization and stakeholders within the organization's system for value delivery. Principles for a profession serve as foundational guidelines for strategy, decision-making, and problem-solving. Professional standards and methodologies are often based on principles. In some professions, principles serve as laws or rules, and are therefore prescriptive in nature. The principles of project management are not prescriptive in nature. They are intended to guide the behavior of people involved in projects. They are broadly based, so there are many ways individuals and organizations can maintain alignment with the principles. Principles can, but do not necessarily, reflect morals, identified as most important to the project management community, such as responsibility, respect, fairness, and honesty. The 12 principles focus on stewardship, collaboration, leadership, value focus, stakeholders engagement, quality, risk, complexity, adaptability and resiliency, system thinking, future state, and tailoring. Optimizing risk responses. A risk is an uncertain event or condition that, if it occurs, can have a positive or negative effect on one or more objectives. Identified risks may or may not materialize in a project. Project teams endeavor to identify and evaluate known and emergent risks, both internal and external to the project, throughout the life cycle. Overall project risk is the effect of uncertainty on the project as a whole. Overall risk arises from all sources of uncertainty, including individual risks, and represents the exposure of the stakeholders to the implications of variations in project outcome, both positive and negative. Management of overall project risk aims to keep project risk exposure within an acceptable range. Management strategies include reducing drivers of threats, promoting drivers of opportunities, and maximizing the probability of achieving overall project objectives. Effective and appropriate risk responses can reduce individual and overall project threats and increase individual and overall opportunities. Project teams should consistently identify potential risk responses with the following characteristics in mind. Appropriate and timely to the significance of the risk. Cost-effective. Realistic within the project context. Agreed to by relevant stakeholders, and owned by a responsible person. Project teams seek to maximize positive risks, opportunities, and decrease exposure to negative risks, threats. Threats may result in issues such as delay, cost overrun, technical failure, performance shortfall, or loss of reputation. Opportunities can lead to benefits such as reduced time and cost, improved performance, increased market share, or enhanced reputation. Risks can exist within the enterprise, portfolio, program, project, and product. The project may be a component of a program in which the risk can potentially enhance or diminish benefits realization and, therefore, value. The project may be a component of a portfolio of related or unrelated work in which the risk can potentially enhance or diminish overall value of the portfolio and realization of business objectives. Organizations and project teams that employ consistent risk evaluation, planning, and proactive risk implementation often find the effort to be less costly than reacting to issues when the risk materializes. Navigating complexity. A project is a system of elements that interact with each other. Complexity is a characteristic of a project or its environment that is difficult to manage due to human behavior, system behavior, and ambiguity. The nature and number of the interactions determine the degree of complexity in a project. Complexity emerges from project elements, interactions between project elements, and interactions with other systems and the project environment. Though complexity cannot be controlled, project teams can modify their activities to address impacts that occur as a result of complexity. Complexity may emerge and impact the project in any area and at any point in the project life cycle. Project teams can identify elements of complexity throughout the project by continually looking at the project component as well as the project as a whole for signs of complexity. Knowledge of systems thinking, complex adaptive systems, experience from past project work, experimentation, and continuous learning related to system interaction leads to the project team's increased ability to navigate complexity when it emerges. Project teams often cannot foresee complexity emerging because it is the result of many interactions such as risks, dependencies, events, or relationships. Alternatively, a few causes may converge to produce a single complex effect, which makes isolating a specific cause of complexity difficult. Project complexity occurs as the result of individual elements within the project and project system as a whole. For example, complexity within a project may be amplified with a greater number or diversity of stakeholders, such as regulatory agencies, international financial institutions, multiple vendors, numerous specialty subcontractors, or local communities. These stakeholders can have a significant impact on the complexity of a project, both individually and collectively. Human behavior. Human behavior is the interplay of conduct, demeanors, attitudes, and experience of people. System behavior. System behavior is the result of dynamic interdependencies within and among project elements. Uncertainty is the lack of understanding and awareness of issues, events, paths to follow, or solutions to pursue. Uncertainty deals with the probabilities of alternative actions, reactions, and outcomes. Uncertainty includes unknown unknowns and black swans, which are emerging factors that are completely outside of existing knowledge or experience. Within a complex environment, uncertainty and ambiguity can combine to blur causal relationships to the point where probabilities and impacts are ill-defined. It becomes difficult to reduce uncertainty and ambiguity to the point where relationships can be well-defined and therefore addressed effectively. Technological innovation. Technological innovation can cause disruption to products, services, ways of working, processes, tools, techniques, procedures, and more. The introduction of desktop computing and social media are examples of technological innovations that have fundamentally changed the way project work is performed. New technology, along with the uncertainty of how that technology will be used, contributes to complexity. Innovation has the potential to help move projects toward a solution, or to disrupt the project when associated uncertainties are not defined, leading to increased complexity. Being vigilant for indications of complexity allows project teams to adapt their approaches and plans to navigate potential disruption to effective project delivery. Adaptability and resiliency. Most projects encounter challenges or obstacles at some stage. The combined attributes of adaptability and resiliency in the project team's approach to a project help the project accommodate impacts and thrive. Adaptability refers to the ability to respond to changing conditions. Resiliency consists of two complementary traits, the ability to absorb impacts and the ability to recover quickly from a setback or failure. Both adaptability and resiliency are helpful characteristics for anyone working on projects. A project rarely performs exactly as initially planned. Projects are influenced by internal and external factors, new requirements, issues, stakeholder influences, among other factors which exist in a system of interactions. Some elements within a project may fail or fall short of expectations, requiring the project team to regroup, rethink, and replan. The project team will need to address the situation in order to move the project forward. The view that projects should hold firm to plans and commitments made during the early stages, even after new or unforeseen factors emerge, is not beneficial to stakeholders, including customers and end users, as this limits the potential for generating value. In a project environment, capabilities that support adaptability and resilience include short feedback loops to adapt quickly, continuous learning and improvement. Project teams with broad skill sets, coupled with individuals having extensive knowledge in each required skill area. Regular inspection and adaptation of project work to identify improvement opportunities. Diverse project teams to capture a broad range of experiences. Open and transparent planning that engages internal and external stakeholders. Small-scale prototypes and experiments to test ideas and try new approaches. Ability to leverage new ways of thinking and working. Process design that balances velocity of work and stability of requirements. Open organizational conversations. Diverse project teams with broad skill sets, cultures, and experience, coupled with subject matter experts in each required skill area. Understanding from past learning of the same or similar endeavors. Ability and willingness to anticipate multiple potential scenarios and prepare for multiple eventualities. Deferring decision-making to the last responsible moment. Management support, and open-ended design that balances speed and stability. Envisioning outcomes rather than deliverables can enable solutions, harnessing a better result than the one originally planned. For example, A project team may find an alternative solution that would provide stronger outcomes than the original defined deliverable. While exploration of alternatives is usually the purview of the business case, technologies and other capabilities are evolving so rapidly that a solution could emerge at any time between completion of the business case and project closure. Opportunities for adaptation may emerge during a project, at which time the project team should make a case to the project sponsor, product owner, or customer for capturing the opportunity. Depending on the type of contract, the customer's approval may be needed for some of the changes that result from the adaptation. The project team should be prepared to adapt its plans and activities to take advantage of the opportunity, with the support of the project sponsor, product owner, or customer. Unexpected changes and circumstances in a project system can also present opportunities. To optimize value delivery, project teams should use problem solving as well as a holistic thinking approach to changes and unplanned events. When an unplanned event occurs, project teams should look for potential positive outcomes that might be gained. For example, incorporating a change that occurs late in a project timeline could add competitive advantage by being the first product in the market to offer the feature. Building adaptability and resiliency in a project keeps project teams focused on the desired outcome when internal and external factors change, and it helps them recover from setbacks. These characteristics also help project teams learn and improve so that they can quickly recover from failures or setbacks and continue making progress toward delivering value. Recognizing, evaluating, and responding to system interactions. A system is a set of interacting and interdependent components that function as a unified whole. Taking a holistic view, a project is a multifaceted entity that exists in dynamic circumstances, exhibiting the characteristics of a system. Project teams should acknowledge this holistic view of a project, seeing the project as a system with its own working parts. Systems thinking also considers timing elements of systems, such as what the project delivers or enables over time. For example, if project deliverables are released incrementally, each increment expands the cumulative outcomes or capabilities of previous versions. Project teams should think beyond the end of the project to the operational state of the project's deliverable, so that intended outcomes are realized. A project works within other larger systems, and a project deliverable may become part of a larger system to realize benefits. For example, projects may be part of a program which, in turn, may also be part of a portfolio. These interconnected structures are known as a system of systems. Project teams balance inside/out and outside/in perspectives to support alignment across the system of systems. The project may also have subsystems that are required to integrate effectively to deliver the intended outcome. For example, when individual project teams develop separate components of a deliverable, all components should integrate effectively. This requires project teams to interact and align subsystem work on a regular basis. Systems thinking also applies to how the project team views itself and its interactions within the project system. The project system often brings together a diverse project team engaged in working for a common objective. This diversity brings value to project teams, but they need to consider how to leverage those differences effectively, so that the project team works cohesively. For example, if a government agency contracts with a private company for development of a new technology, the development team may consist of project team members from both organizations. Recognizing, evaluating, and responding to system interactions can lead to the following positive outcomes. Early consideration of uncertainty and risk within the project, exploration of alternatives, and consideration of unintended consequences. Ability to adjust assumptions and plans throughout the project life cycle. Provision of ongoing information and insights that inform planning and delivery. Clear communication of plans, progress, and projections to relevant stakeholders. Alignment of project goals and objectives to the customer organization's goals, objectives, and vision. Ability to adjust to the changing needs of the end user, sponsor, or customer of the project deliverables. Ability to see synergies and savings between aligned projects or initiatives. Ability to exploit opportunities not otherwise captured or see threats posed to or by other projects or initiatives. Clarity regarding the best project performance measurement and their influence on the behavior of the people involved in the project. Decisions that benefit the organization as a whole, and more comprehensive and informed identification of risks. Project teams should operate with awareness of, and vigilance toward, changing system dynamics. The following skills support a systems view of the project. Empathy with the business areas. Critical thinking with a big picture focus. Challenging of assumptions and mental models. Seeking external review and advice. Use of integrated methods, artifacts, and practices so there is a common understanding of project work, deliverables, and outcomes. Use of modeling and scenarios to envision how system dynamics may interact and react, and proactive management of the integration to help achieve business outcomes. Enabling change to achieve the envisioned future state. Remaining relevant in today's business environment is a fundamental challenge for all organizations. Relevance entails being responsive to stakeholder needs and desires. This requires continually evaluating offerings for the benefit of stakeholders, rapidly responding to changes, and acting as agents for change. Project managers are uniquely poised to keep an organization prepared for changes. Projects, by their very definition, create something new. They are agents of change. Change management, or enablement, is a comprehensive, cyclic, and structured approach for transitioning individuals, groups, and organizations from a current state to a future state in which they realize desired benefits. It is different from project change control, which is a process whereby modifications to documents, deliverables, or baselines associated with the project are identified and documented, and then are approved or rejected. Change in an organization can originate from internal sources, such as the need for a new capability or in response to a performance gap. Change can also originate from external sources such as technological advances, demographic changes, or socioeconomic pressures. Any type of change involves some level of adaptability or assimilation by the group experiencing the change as well as the industries with which the group interacts. Change may be implemented by and have consequences for stakeholders. Enabling stakeholder change is part of facilitating the project to provide the required deliverable as well as the intended outcome. Enabling change in an organization can be challenging. Some people may seem inherently resistant to change or risk-averse, and environments may display a conservative culture, among other reasons. Effective change management uses a motivational strategy rather than forceful. 1. Engagement and two-way communication create an environment in which adoption and assimilation of change can occur or identify some valid concerns from the resistant users that may need to be addressed. Project team members and project managers can work with relevant stakeholders to address resistance, fatigue, and change absorption to increase the probability that change will be adopted or assimilated successfully by customers or recipients of project deliverables. This includes communicating the vision and goals associated with the change early in the project to achieve buy-in for the change. The benefits of the change and the impact on work processes should be communicated to all levels. It is also important to adapt the speed of change to the change appetite, cost, and ability of the stakeholders and the environment to assimilate change. Attempting to create too many changes in too short a time can lead to resistance because of change saturation. Even when stakeholders unanimously agree that change will produce more value or enhance outcomes, they often still have difficulty working through the actions that will deliver enhanced benefits. To foster benefits realization, the project may also include activities to reinforce the change after its implementation in order to avoid people returning to the initial state. Recognizing and addressing the needs of stakeholders to embrace change throughout the project life cycle helps to integrate the resulting change in the project work, making a successful outcome more likely. Tailoring based on context. Adapting to the unique objectives, stakeholders, and complexity of the environment contributes to project success. Tailoring is the deliberate adaptation of approach, governance, and processes to make them more suitable for the given environment and the work at hand. Project teams tailor the appropriate framework that will enable the flexibility to consistently produce positive outcomes within the context of the life cycle of the project. The business environment, team size, degree of uncertainty, and complexity of the project all factor into how project systems are tailored. Project systems can be tailored with a holistic perspective, including the consideration of interrelated complexities. Tailoring aims to maximize value, manage constraints, and improve performance by using just enough processes, methods, templates, and artifacts to achieve the desired outcome from the project. Together with the PMO and considering governance, project teams discuss and decide on the delivery approach and resources required for producing outcomes on a project-by-project basis. This includes the selection of the processes to use, development approach, methods, and artifacts needed to deliver the project outcomes. Tailoring decisions can be an implicit action of accepting an established methodology. Conversely, tailoring can be an explicit action of selecting and mixing specific elements to suit the unique characteristics of the project and the project environment. Tailoring is necessary to some degree in every project, because each project exists in a particular context. Projects are often unique, even when the deliverable of the project does not seem unique. This is because project contexts differ in that the organization, its customers, its channels, and its environment are dynamic elements. Those changes and ongoing learning may cause project teams to use or develop different methods or approaches in pursuit of success. The project team should examine the unique set of conditions for each project, so that they can determine the most appropriate methods of producing the desired outcomes. An existing methodology or common way of working can inform the way in which a project is tailored. A methodology is a system of practices, techniques, procedures, and rules used by those who work in a discipline. Project teams may be required to assume the methodology of the parent organization. That is, the project team adopts a system of processes, governance, methods, and templates that provide guidance on how to run the project. While this provides a degree of consistency to projects within an organization, the methodology itself may still need tailoring to suit each project. Organizational policies and procedures prescribe authorized boundaries within which the project team can tailor. Project teams can also factor in the time and cost of project management processes. Processes that are not tailored may add little value to the project or its outcomes while increasing cost and lengthening schedule. Tailoring the approach along with appropriate processes, methods, and artifacts can help project teams make decisions about process-related costs and the related value contribution to project outcomes. In addition to deciding on how to tailor an approach, project teams communicate the tailoring decisions to stakeholders associated with that approach. Each member of the project team is aware of the chosen methods and processes that relate to those stakeholders and their role. Tailoring the project approach to suit the unique characteristics of the project and its environment can contribute to a higher level of project performance and an increased probability of success. A tailored project approach can produce direct and indirect benefits to organizations, such as deeper commitment from project team members because they took part in defining the approach, reduction in waste in terms of actions or resources, customer-oriented focus, as the needs of the customer and other stakeholders are an important influencing factor in the tailoring of the project, and more efficient use of project resources, as project teams are conscious of the weight of project processes. Tailoring projects can lead to the following positive outcomes. Increased innovation, efficiency, and productivity. Lessons learned, so that improvements from a specific delivery approach can be shared and applied to the next round of work or future projects. Further improvement of an organization's methodology, with new practices, methods, and artifacts. Discovery of improved outcomes, processes, or methods through experimentation. Effective integration within multidisciplinary project teams of methods and practices used to deliver project results, and increased adaptability for the organization in the long term. Tailoring an approach is iterative in nature, and therefore is a constant process itself during the project life cycle. Project teams collect feedback from all stakeholders on how the methods and tailored processes are working for them as the project progresses to evaluate their effectiveness and add value to the organization. Click the link below and watch the next video to continue. Please subscribe to receive notification about the following video series. This is all about project, program, and portfolio management. Continues in successive videos. Subscribe using the link below. Thank you for watching.